Hello there, Holly Blazina here with Bite Size Lifestyle with a quick little tutorial video on how to fill out the What's My Type quiz. There's a few little snags that people have been running into as they're filling out the quiz, and so I just want to give you a couple little pointers that are going to help you along, and then I can help you better with the information that shows up. So one of the things I first want to say right off the top is make sure you watch the video right to the very end, not because I'm going to try to sell you something, but because the last step is actually one of the most important ones. And if you don't get the last step, then I will end up getting a blank quiz in my inbox. So to start with, make sure that you've downloaded the quiz. And if you haven't done that yet, then go do that now. It's on the bitesizedlifestyle.hollyblazina.com/downloads. Bite-sized has got a hyphen in it. bitesizedlifestyle.hollyblazina.com/downloads. And if you haven't done that already, just pause this video and go do that, and then come back. So now that you've got the video or that you've got the document downloaded, what you want to do first thing before you do anything else, you want to save the document. If you don't save the document as it is right now, you're going to fill it in and then I'll get it and it'll be blank. So make sure that you save it first before you start filling anything in. So first thing with the quiz overall, make sure that you take your time with it, because it's not one of those things where if you just fill it in as quickly as you can that your intuition is going to give you the best results. This is something that I find people get better results with it if they just really take their time and reflect a little bit on the questions. And then that's going to give you the most information about yourself. So as you're doing this, refer back to your childhood. Because what ends up happening is that over the course of your life, you learn about which things work for you and which things don't. And so then there could be qualities that are actually part of your basic nature, your basic constitutional type, that you've learned to kind of mitigate them or balance them out. So my example of that is that I used to have a lot of colds and allergies when I was a kid, and very sensitive to all those mucus forming foods like sugar and dairy, but I didn't know that, so I was getting sick all the time. I hardly ever get sick anymore, and that's because I've learned not to have so much sugar and dairy. So if I were filling that out with perspective on myself now, I wouldn't understand that there's a certain kapha element to my constitutional aspect, and I might not be as aware of that. So the other thing that I want to say is that if you're in doubt about any of the questions, or even if you're not in doubt, you might want to get someone who knows you really well. Just run some of the questions past them, because they will give you more perspective on yourself than you can get on your own. So that's an idea. If, as you're going through the questions, you find that two of the categories seem very prevalent, and they both seem to apply to you, then that's just fine. They can both receive check marks, but if you notice that one of the tendencies is more prevalent than the other, give it 2 check marks. Only give it 2 check marks if you're comparing against 2 things. So what we want to try to do is break the tie between the two if we can. If they're both equal, then you're just going to have 2. In my particular case, I'll give you 2 examples. One is that my skin tends to have quite a bit of redness in it. So that's a pitta tendency. The other thing is that it can be quite dry in winter, but I suspect that that's more the environment than anything else. And so even though I check off 1 for the vata, I'm going to check off 2 for the pitta. Another example of the opposite is if you look at my hair is very, very thick, very abundant. It's wavy. But then on the other hand, it's very fine. And when it's short, it's like curly and even frizzy. So I can't really decide which one of those things is more prevalent. So I just tick them both off and leave them the way they are. So there's that. And then the last thing I just want to say is that as you're filling this out, you be you. One of the things that I've seen as I'm filling these out with people in person is that sometimes we see the qualities that we want to see, rather than just letting ourselves be who we are. So just remember that all the types are beautiful, you're beautiful, you be you, and then you're going to learn more about who you are and how beautiful you are. So what I'd like to suggest that you do right now is just pause the video here until you're completely finished the quiz, and then once you're completely finished, then just resume for the last step, which is, as I mentioned at the beginning, the all-important step. So go ahead and finish your quiz at your leisure, and then come back for the last moment. Okay, so now that you're done, the thing that is really important is just to make sure that you save the document now, and then when you send it to me, it'll show up with all of the check marks filled in. So I hope you had fun doing the quiz, hope you learned something about yourself, and I look forward to seeing your results.